First and foremost, just want to offer all honors, praises, respect, acknowledgement, and thanks unto the great King of the universe, to the God of our fathers, to the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Thanking him for all things and everything. Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Amen. How's everybody feeling?
Torah YAH.
How's everybody feeling after 8 days of matzahs? I noticed that answer was a little different. Whew. I ain't feeling so great right now. But, all right, we're going to start in 1 Kings. So, 1 Kings 1:1. Yo, so we going to Cats after this? We getting some pizza or something? Something, right? Some mac and cheese? Nah, that's gonna take too long because you gotta cook it. We need something that we could get right away. Cats, pizza, something. All right, so before I start, we was talking with the young kids in the back, so I'm just gonna kind of throw a quick idea out there. So what we was talking about was the kids, in order to give the kids something to do, what we said that we were gonna do for next week is, and we could just kick this around, 2 weeks, we're gonna get 2 kid captains. Something wrong with that? 2 children captains. Man, rough crowd already. Y'all look like y'all going through comments withdrawal or something. And we gonna let them pick teams, and they all this week, or whenever we decide to do it, they need to study the book of Genesis and the book of Exodus. And we gonna ask questions about Genesis and Exodus, and the winners get cookies and ice cream. No? We gotta come better than that? The kids was happy with cookies and ice cream.
It's a Shabbat game.
Come on, man. Come on, man. And the losers get to eat a half a jar of cayenne pepper. No? Too little? Y'all need to study. One of the kids asked, they was like, can't everybody win? No, everybody can't win. That's not real life. Y'all gonna see right now in this portion, everybody don't win. That ain't real life. So just bear that in mind. Genesis and Exodus. Unless y'all coming up with assistance with money, we going with cookies and ice cream. Cookies and ice. I think we'll talk to y'all with y'all. They look, man. All right. So just putting that out there. Those are some of the things that we looking to do moving forward. Right. So the portion that we're gonna get into today is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 1, verse 1, and we just finished out the book of 2 Samuel. And as we said, we're gonna go through these portions in history to try to bring keep us abreast with the history, and just to have a new, fresh ideas that's being put out there. So, whenever you're ready, my bro.
We're in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 1, verse 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Now King David was old and stricken in years, and they covered him with clothes, but he could get no heat.
Right. So now, at this point, King David is, depending on how you read the scripture, King David is 70-ish or 80-ish, depending on how you read the scripture. Mm-hmm. But so this is the man who fought all of the wars for God. This is a man who did so many different things, and now it's coming to the point where he's old, mm-hmm. and he's having a hard time getting warm, and just a lot of things going on with his body, and they're looking at the king, and they're seeing him not be the same king that he used to be, and so what they're doing is they're trying to come up with something, because A lot of people love King David. I'm not going to say everybody because it wasn't everybody, but most of the nation loved King David. And to see him there like that, a man who used to be so strong, a man that used to be so courageous, to see him there just kind of not being able to get heat and always shivering and all of those different types of things, you know, they wanted to do something to, you know, to kind of get him back to being the old King David that everybody was used to. Come on.
Wherefore his servant said unto him, let there be sought for my lord the king a young virgin, and let her stand before the king and be a companion unto him, and let her lie in thy bosom, that my lord the king may get heat.
Right. So.
There's another chair right there for John.
Trying to figure out how to express this with everybody that's under 15 in the room. But so I guess I'll just say it like this. I don't really know how to say it. I'm gonna just say it. Say it how it say it. So what they sought was they sought a lady friend for King David to play Skelly with, and to, you know, somebody that he could play Skelly with and all of those, and play like trouble with and all of those types of things, so that no. Listen, when y'all get home, in between Genesis and Exodus, y'all can explain to them, you know, I'm just saying, but seriously, so what they did was, they said, let there be found for him, my lord the king, a young virgin, and let her stand before the king and be a companion to her, and lie in her bosom, and that my lord may get heat. Because
he needed heat.
He needed heat? But, because he was cold? All right. Okay. We go with that. Come on.
So they sought for a fair damsel throughout all the borders of Yisrael, and found Abishag the Shunammite, and brought her to the king.
All right, go ahead.
And the damsel was very fair, and she became a companion unto the king, and ministered to him, but the king knew her not.
All right. So for bragging rights, anybody know what tribe Abishag was from? Anybody who didn't study the portion know what tribe Abishag was from? Okay, right. So if you look at it, yeah, I was hoping she was from Dan, but nah, she wasn't. She was from Zaccar. So kudos to Zaccar. They made them one fine.
He was from where? I was in the room.
She was from the tribe of Zaccar. No problem. Chief Prince. Amen. Beautiful young woman. And listen, and I'm going to tell you right now that Abishag, when you talk about a beautiful young woman, I don't know if she was light or dark. I know she was fine. Like, man, listen. She wasn't, when y'all look at some of the models that y'all see up up on TV today, she don't look like that. I think Abishag was BBW. That's what I'm talking about. Because that's how we come. She needed to have enough for everything that she needed to have in order for the king to get warm. Because he was cold. Stop again? Okay.
Verse 5.
Now, but what it said was, so you knew that this was an issue. Because Abishag looked like, man, listen. But the king knew her not.
He knew her not.
Because at this point, it was past that. It was, she looked nice. She tended to him. She rubbed his feet. She did all that. He was still cold. He was still cold. Come on.
Verse 5. Now Adonijah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen, and 50 men to run before him. And his father had not grieved him all his life, and saying, What hast thou done so? Why hast thou done so? And he was also a very goodly man. And he was born after Absalom.
Right. So the reason that they point out that he was born after Absalom, because he was third in line. Mm-hmm. So by rights, they don't talk too much about King David's first son, but then you hear about Absalom, and then you hear about Adonijah. So by rights, him figuring that he was next in line, because he was third and Absalom was dead. Remember we did the story about Absalom? Right. We talked about Absalom. He was probably short. He got caught up in the trees, all that. But him also, very goodly man, and the king never told him at no point when he was doing all of this talking, the king never told him, no, it's not going to be you.
Right.
Because we're going to see what's happening later on, but the king never told him, no, not you. It's not going to be you. So he went on his feeling of what his understanding of that he was supposed to be entitled to. So what did he do?
And he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar the priest. And they, following Adonijah, helped him.
Right. So, and just to kind of go back to what it said, and he prepared himself, horsemen and chariots and 50 men to run before him. Because whenever you the king and whenever you in charge, you got to have your entourage. You have to have your people. Because this ain't the day in social media where you just kind of, shoot and all information comes up. You have to get the information out there. So that's what he had. He had his 50 men and the chariots, and they had their banners that said, long live King Absalom. And that's how they got the word around to everybody in campaign. That's how they got the word around to everybody in the country that Absalom was going to be the next king. Mm-hmm. You know how they do it with the, what do they call it? The presidential walk, right. Where they do it on the inauguration day. Right. If I'm not correct. If I'm correct. So he gives his speech, and then they walk from wherever they walk from down to the White House. Mm-hmm. And it's a whole entourage, and it's cars, and some people driving cars, some people riding a car. My man B.O. Barack Obama, he walked last year. It was cold. It was cold. And he walked, he did the Barack Obama strut. That was for everybody to know, this is who in charge now. That's the campaign. So that's what Absalom did here. Come on.
Verse 8. But Zadok the priest and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada and Natan the prophet and Shimei and Ray and the mighty men that belonged to Dawid were not with Adonijah.
But he did this in a little sneaky way. Because he called the people who he felt could help him. He called the people who had a like mind as him, right. Who had a similar agenda to the agenda that he had. But the people who were closest to King David, mm-hmm. He didn't call them. Mm. How you gonna have a king's inauguration and not invite Benaiah?
Right.
He was the right-hand man. How you gonna have a king's inauguration and not invite the Terethites and the Pelethites?
Exactly.
You can't have that. So what lesson we get from that? Just like how you have in these days and times, where you have these upcoming people who all of a sudden they just pop up, and 3 weeks later I'm Chief Prince Moray Haganasi this, and they got this whole following. Where you come from? Where you come from? Who you studied under?
Right.
Where you what do you base this on?
Where's your credentials?
Thank you. Where are they? And that's what he did here. He picked the people who he knew would come, who had the certain agenda that they had, mm-hmm. And the people who was closest to King David, he didn't invite them. Come on.
And Adonijah slew sheep and oxen and fatlings by the stone of Zoheleth.
Everything. He's doing sacrifices. They having them a big party. Sheep, oxen, wine, all that. Come on.
Which is beside En Rogel. And he called all his brethren the king's sons, and all the men of Yehuda the king's servants. But Natan the prophet, and Benaiah, and the mighty men, and Shalom his brother, he called not.
The key people, he didn't call. But now, let's just stop and think about this for a minute. Why did he call all of the sons except Solomon?
He obviously knew something. He knew.
He must have knew. He must have knew that when David had the incident with Bathsheba and Solomon came along, he must have knew that Solomon was already promised the kingdom. Because why call everybody except Solomon? Come on.
Then Natan spoke unto Bathsheba, the mother of Shalom, saying, Hast thou not heard that Adonijah the son of Haggith doth reign, and Dawid our Lord knoweth it not? Now therefore come, let me, I pray thee, give thee counsel, that thou mayest save thy own life and the life of thy son Shalom.
Right. So obviously Natan knew as well that if this went through, that Bathsheba and Solomon's life was in danger, because obviously people knew that Solomon was supposed to be the one that was supposed to take the throne. Mm-hmm. And so what typically happens, as you saw throughout the history, when people get in charge, they have that tendency to eliminate the threat. In this particular point, Solomon was the threat. So when Natan came, and Natan is like, listen, I'm the prophet. And he didn't call me. He went to Bathsheba and he said, listen, you need to go talk to the king, and we need to kind of get this cleared up before it go too far. Now, in most cases, you'll figure it already went too far. He done slew sheep and oxen. He got all of the word out there that Absalom is going to be king. Come on.
Go and get thee in unto King Dawid, and say unto him, This not thou, my lord, O king, swear unto thy handmaid, saying, Assuredly Shalom thy son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne. Why then doth Adonijah reign?
Right, because what you have to do, and again, this is a message that we all need to get. When we're confronted with these types of situations, you have to bring it out. And you have to talk about it. Tough situation, you have to talk about it. So Natan took her and he said, listen, this is what we're dealing with, but you need to go and you need to talk to him, and you need to have him reaffirm what he already told you, that Solomon was supposed to be king.
Right.
We can't just let it go. What happens too often is when we let things go and we don't talk about it, and oh, that's not my problem, and all of those different things, bad things go wrong, and then we get upset that bad things went wrong. But we all had the opportunity to do something to fix it, and everybody stayed tight-lipped and quiet. So when you stay tight-lipped and quiet, you can't be beefing when things don't go your way.
Right.
All right. That's right.
It's a way to talk about and bring about everything. You don't want to bring it out with disrespect or anything like that, but you have to bring it out so that can be dealt with, and that it can be addressed. Mm-hmm. And so now, with Bathsheba, she's now in like a little quandary because she's concerned about it, and here's Natan advising her, this is the way we're going to do it. Don't worry about it. Come on.
Behold, while thou yet talkest there with the king, I also will come in after thee and confirm thy words. And Bathsheba went in unto the king into the chamber. Now the king was very old, and Abishag the Shunammite ministered unto the king. And Bathsheba bowed and prostrated.
Right. So now, we have the king in the room. We have Abishag in the room. And we got Bathsheba coming in the room. Him and Bathsheba was still married.
Facts.
Right? Him and Bathsheba was still married. All in the room. Come on.
And Bathsheba bowed and prostrated herself unto the king. And the king said,
right. So now, she came in. She recognized and understood what the situation was. And she handled it like
a queen,
the classy lady that she was. She came in, bowed to the king. Then she started to bring her conversation on. She started to converse. She didn't come in, my lord the king. Powerful. That doesn't do us no good. She ain't come in like that. Ain't come in like that. Now, I want to stop for a minute because I want us to take in everything, because all of this was left here for a reason.
Right.
We got to understand exactly what happened here. David wasn't feeling so well. David had a wife. David had more than one wife. But they still felt the need to bring in. It wasn't, they didn't bring her in just to get kids. That wasn't the reason. So when we having this polygamy conversation and we talking about these different things, we need to keep everything on the up and what it is. It's not important who did that. It's not important who did that. Nah, but what I'm saying is, because I know these are real touchy subjects for us and we don't really like to talk about, but we have to look at everything for what it is.
Right.
Listen, just because they brought in another woman to deal with King David, that didn't mean that there was anything wrong with Bathsheba. That didn't mean that. It didn't mean that there was anything wrong with, what's the other one name? Abigail. We really can't really control anyway. You can't really control it anyway. And the other thing that I want us to understand, because I know we've been in a place where they talk so many different things. The European want to tell us how, yeah, a man is only supposed to have one wife and this and all of those different things, and that's what they teach. While in the meanwhile, they have their wife at home, and when they go out and they go with whoever they, listen, they got it all. They got it all. The mistress, like you said, the work girlfriend, the secretary. I'm just saying. So when she came in, I want to reaffirm it again. Listen, it doesn't mean anything was wrong with any of them. That's right. It doesn't mean that. But this is something that was the natural course of life, and this is what they did. Mm-hmm. So she came in with a positive spirit, right? Positive spirit, and she came in. She didn't let whatever she saw get her down and start causing issues. She came in to deal with the situation that was at hand. Come on.
And the king said, "What wouldest thou?"
Right. So what's going on? How you doing, baby? I would get up, but I'm cold right now. You know what I'm saying? How's everything? How's the kingdom running? You know what I'm saying?
And she said unto him, "My lord, thou didst swear by Jehovah thy God and unto thy handmaid, assuredly Shalom, thy son, shall reign after me."
I don't know why you got this girl in here acting like this was my room. I remember all that. Just go right into the point. Come on.
"And he shall sit upon my throne. And now, behold, Adonijah reigneth, and thou, my lord the king, knowest it not. Right. And he have slain oxen and fatlings." And
she ain't even coming while you was up here perusing and gallivanting with this doggone Zaccar, right? Adonijah was over there making himself king. If you was up being a king like you were supposed to be, rather than dealing with this, then, maybe this one wasn't none of that. I don't need that. There's no problem. I don't need that. That's not helpful.
Right.
The worst thing you could do in a stressful situation is add more stress to the situation. The worst you could do. So she came in and she's like, "Listen, you told me that my son was going to be king. And I'm not sure if you're aware, Adonijah, and this is what he's doing. And I just need to know whether what you swore to me was going to be the case is still the case. Because it's perfectly okay to remind people of something that they told you that they was going to do. It's perfectly okay to do that." Listen, I think I remember you saying that. So if something changed, I just need you to let me know. But if nothing changed, just wanted to let you know that this is what's going on. And,
it is what it is.
I think I could have kept you a little warmer, obviously, but she ain't working. But I'm just saying, come on.
"And he have slain oxen and fatlings and sheep in abundance, and have called all the sons of the king, and Abiathar the priest, and Joab the captain of the host. But Shalom thy servant hath he not called. And thou, my lord the king, the eyes of all Yisrael are upon thee, that thou shouldest tell them who shall sit on the throne of my lord the king after him. Otherwise, It will come to pass when my lord the king shall sleep with his fathers, that I and my son Shalom shall be counted offenders.
So, and what she did was, so she put it all out there. She told him about that part. She said, now mind you, everybody is looking at you to make a decision. This is not the time for you to sit back and just let whatever happen is going to happen. This is not that time. Everybody is looking at you to make a decision. And if you don't make a decision, please bear in mind that me, you know, she smiled. You know, she winked. I know she came in with that red dress and that sweet perfume and them high heels. I know she came in with that because she's still trying to get a petition. She came in. Maybe she's trying to show something too, but, you know, that's what she came in. And so she's like, so now everybody is looking at you to see how you're going to handle this. Come on.
And lo, while she yet talked with the king, Natan the prophet came in. And they told the king, saying, behold, Natan the prophet. And when he was coming before the king, he bowed down before the king with his face to the ground. 24. And Natan said, my lord, O king, hast thou said, Adonijah shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? For he is gone down this day and have slain oxen and fatlings and sheep in abundance, and have called all the king's sons and the captains of the host, and Abiathar the priest, and behold, they eat and drink before him, and say, long live King Adonijah. But me, even thy servant, and Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and thy servant Shalomo, hath he not called. Is this thing done by my lord the king? And thou hast not declared unto thy servant who should sit on the throne of my lord the king after him?
This was important because if the king did not make the decision about who was going to reign next, what you was going to have was chaos.
Right.
That's why it's important for when you have leaders and when you have teachers and when you have all of these different types of scenarios that you start to train people from young on how to do certain things so that they prepared to take over.
Right.
Shalom, being from a royal family on both sides, was prepared to take over.
Right.
He just jumped the gun.
Right.
Adonijah was more or less kind of halfway prepared to take over. But when you leave here without leaving things in place for to settle all affairs and all matters, then you leave it for chaos. Come on.
Then King David answered and said, call me Bathsheba. And she came.
So what does that mean? To me, if you look at this, what happened? She came in the room and she started to talk to King David, and then Natan came in the room. After Natan spoke,
She exited.
he said, call me Bathsheba, which means what?
She
left the room. Because it was for men, this is a conversation between men, that men was going to be talking about certain things, so she left the room.
Right.
Which also leads me under the impression that Abishag wasn't there ear hustling. Abishag left the room too.
Right.
Because they was dealing with the situation at hand. I mean, it's just certain things that's just, protocol. So, listen, everything going to come out in its own time. With men talking and people talking on the phone and people trying to do, you don't have to. Shh. Shh.
I can't hear.
You need that. You're going to find out everything in fair time. So, she came in, and it don't even say that he told him she just knew to leave. Just like Abishag just knew to leave. Because regardless to what happened with Abishag and how cute she was and how fine she was and all of that, Bathsheba was still a queen. And they recognize that. So, for people, I know these are tough situations to talk about and to get into, but like when you coming into a certain scenario like that where it's already something established and you coming in, you need to come in with some respect. You can't come in thinking, I'm going to take this whole thing over and turn this whole thing upside down. You can't come in like that. This house is already established. This house is already established and running well.
Right.
Know your role, homie. Come in like that. So, and I can almost guarantee you that when Abishag left, she took her fine self and walked right out. Come on.
And she came in unto the king's presence and stood before the king. And the king swore and said, as Jehovah liveth, who hath redeemed my soul out of all adversity, verily as I swore unto thee by Jehovah, the God of Israel, saying, assuredly Shalom, thy son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne in my stead. Verily, so will I do this day. Then Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth, and prostrated herself to the king, and said, let my lord King David live forever. And King David said, call me Zadok the priest, and Natan the prophet. What does
that mean? That means when Bathsheba came back in, Natan left.
Right.
Because Bathsheba was still a queen. So now David is like, you know what? I need to strengthen myself because there's a issue at hand that I need to deal with. Call me everybody. So who he said call?
And King David said, call me Zadok the priest, and Natan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada.
Call him too.
And they came before the king.
I'm pretty much sure that they was all waiting right outside that room anyway.
Right.
They was all waiting outside that room anyway. He didn't say call Abishag.
Right.
She wasn't a part of this. She wasn't a part of this particular scenario. She wasn't offended. She just wasn't a part of this particular scenario. So he said, call me all of these people. Come on.
And the king said unto them, verse 33, take with you the servants of your lord, and call Shalom my son to ride upon my mule, upon my own mule, and bring him down to Gihon.
This is what make it official. Come on.
And let Zadok the priest and Natan the prophet anoint him there, king over Yisrael, and blow ye with the horn and say, long live King Shalomo.
Come on.
And
so now, hold on. So now what you gonna do is you already had him and his 50 runners run through the streets and long live Adonijah and all of those different things. So that's already in people's head.
Right.
And now, right now, they sitting back, they eating, they drinking, they popping bottles, they partying and all of that. And now David sits up and David is like, get my mule, the king's mule. It was probably like a pretty mule too. Probably like a pretty, like black beauty kind of mule. Mules come in black? I think it came in black. I think it came in black. And they said, we gonna put Solomon on this mule. And we gonna walk Solomon all the way down to Gihon.
Right.
All the way down. And what we gonna do is we gonna send Zadok with him, because who was Zadok? Zadok was the official priest.
Right.
He wasn't the second priest like Abiathar was.
Right.
Zadok was the official priest.
Right.
And we gonna send Benaiah, because Benaiah is the official captain of the host right now. And we gonna send my royal bodyguards, the Terethites and the Pelethites, just to make sure nothing happened to Solomon.
That's right.
Just in case anybody want to try anything. You know how people got their people and then they got their people who when you got a real issue, you be like, I know who I need to call. This is right nice, and we need a lot of people, but I know who I need to call. We know who we need to call. Send him out on the king's mule. Cool. As he's going down to Gihon, we're gonna do this better. As he's going down to Gihon, we want people blowing with horns and trumpets and all of that, because we want to make a big noise, because we want to get everybody's attention, because we want everybody to see this. So as they going down the street and they blowing with horns and everybody stopping, I thought Adonijah was
right.
But what happened? I mean, he came through there with them 50 little Peasley men, and they coming out here with a whole procession. This is the king I'm talking about. This is official right now. Come on.
Then he shall come up after him, and he shall come and sit upon my throne.
And then, right, that's the part I forgot. Then what you gonna do is when you get the Gihon, and all of these people gonna come following you because they want to see what's going on. When you get the Gihon, you gonna have the official priest anoint King Solomon right there.
Right.
So now that you got this crowd and everybody looking, and they're gonna anoint King Solomon right there, sitting on that pretty black mule. Mm-hmm. This is official. This is the official coronation. And then, when y'all come back, y'all gonna sit Solomon on the throne. My throne. So that when they follow everybody back, they're going to sit Solomon on the throne, and everybody going to see that this who David has made king. Come on.
For he shall be king in my stead, and I have appointed him to be prince over Israel and over Yehuda. And BINAH the son of Jehoiada answered the king and said, Amen. So say Yehovah, the God of my Lord.
So David
the king.
said to him, because BINAH was David's dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, BINAH, whatever happened, I want you to make sure that this happened.
Right.
BINAH, anything's happened to Solomon, something gonna happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And what BINAH said?
Amen. So say Yehovah, the God of my Lord, the king. As Yehovah hath been with
Godly
my Lord
talk.
the king.
Everybody around David talk godly talk. Mm-hmm. Even the rough and tumble gangster dudes talk godly talk. Right. Just because you talk about God, and just because you sing, and just because you dance, and you do all of those different things, that don't mean you gotta be soft.
That's right.
I mean, you gotta be soft. Some of the toughest dudes praise God, and that's what made them tougher. Don't mean you gotta be soft.
That's right.
So BINAH is like, listen, and he talking all that godly talk. Amen. And may the Most High God who blessed you, blessed him, and make him better than you. Godly talk. Just because you soldier up and soldier, none of that don't matter. It matter when you godly. That's what matter. Listen, I seen all types of, look, when you come from a certain place, you seen all different types of things. Right. And I could guarantee you in every single thing that I've seen, in every single thing that I've been through, and I'm sure everybody who's been through similar situations, I'm talking about shootings and this and all of those different things, everybody who come out of that could come out of it and say, I thank the Most High God for this. How you get out of that situation? I thank the Most High God for this. All around. Mean nothing. Mean nothing. You never seen soldiers that go to war and fold up because it ain't in them? It's easy to go through basic training when it ain't really real, because it's not really real.
Right.
I could crawl through a bunch. Well, actually, I'm not crawling through no bunch of mud or nothing, but I could if I felt like it. Don't mean nothing. Serving God means something.
That's right.
That's the only thing that matters. And the thing about it is when you serve God, when you really, really have that affinity for God, you know that it's not you that's important. It's everybody else who you're supposed to serve. When you become a parent, you know as a parent that it's not it that as a parent you become second or third or fourth or fifth or sixth, depending on how many kids you got. Because the wife come first and then the kids in it, and when you become like a parent and like a real man, you recognize as a real man that those things come first. You recognize as a real man that when you have a boy and you doing everything that you trying to do because this is what you think you're supposed to do to toughen up a boy. So you smack him and you push him and you stomp him and you do all those different things because that's what you think is going to toughen up a boy because that's what they did to you. And then you realize you always need that rough and tumble side that says, listen, why don't you just talk to him? Why don't y'all just play like some video games or something? But nah, he got to be tough. How would you feel to be smacked and kicked and punched and all of this and then say, don't worry, you're going to appreciate this later on in life? Nah, because when you tough and you gangster, I love you don't come out. Because they tell you that I love you is soft. Yeah. Nah, you can't cry. No, you can't cry. You can't cry. Don't cry. Last thing you look, this is non-negotiable. This is non-negotiable. You can't cry. Listen. That article that I asked y'all to read, you know, I ended up getting through the whole thing. And it talked about all of this. And it talked about how, you know, we because they feminized everything and kind of pushed. They feminized everything and pushed they tried to suppress the strength of the black man. So now you trying to come back and you being extra just because you trying to overcome and overcompensate for everything that everybody else did. And at a certain point you realize when you become godly, you realize that it's only pride that's making you feel that way. You know? When you become godly and you yourself become humbled and realize that it's not about you, you realize that, listen, you know what? I don't have to win every argument. You know what? Winning most of them is important, but it's not necessary.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
You don't have to be a caveman when dealing with your wife and kids. You don't have to be that. I guess I must have said something right. I'm just saying, you don't have to be that. It's okay to give flowers. To give flowers. It's okay to give flowers. You know what? It's okay to come in with a nice big teddy bear, just as big as you, and say, this because I love you, baby. It's okay to do that. Woo! Let's stop the portion right there. Look, let's stop the portion right there. But I'm just saying, that's okay. You're going to get a teddy bear tonight? I'm saying, that's what I'm talking about. Everybody go out and get a teddy bear tonight. With some cats and some pizza or something. Come on.
Verse 37. As Jehovah hath been with my lord the king, even so he be with Shalom, and make his throne greater than the throne of my lord King David. So Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and the Kerethites and the Pelethites went down and caused Shalom to ride upon King David's mule, and bore him to Gihon. And Zadok the priest took the horn of oil out of the tent, and anointed Shalom. And they blew the ram's horn. And all the people said, Long live King Shalom. And all the people came up after him, and the people piped with pipes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth rent with the sound of them. Mm-hmm. And Adonijah and all the guests that were with him heard it, as they had made an end of Eden. And when Joab heard the sound of the horn, he said, Wherefore is this noise of the city being in the uproar?
Right, so now what's happening is they parading all through the city. But they in here, they done slayed all of this, and they eating, and they drinking, and they have a good old time. They ain't got the king's mule. They ain't got that. They ain't got none of that. And so now they got this uproar in this party, and you know, Adonijah, who's probably clueless, is like, yeah, they partying for me. But Joab, who's very, very smart and very, very shrewd, Joab is like, something's wrong. Joab is like, something is wrong. What is this noise of uproar that we hear? Joab been through this long enough, and everybody who took a side in this particular situation knew that the side that they took was against King David and against God. They knew that, and that was why they called certain people and they tried to get it pushed through real quick. But come on.
While he had spoke, behold, Yehonatan the son of Abiathar the priest came, and Adonijah said, Come in, without a worthy man, and bring us good tidings.
Not today, but it's always somebody watching. It's always somebody watching. So now they doing all of this. They in here eating and drinking, and now you got one coming in, and so they're like, oh, what's all this noise outside? Come on.
And Yehonatan answered and said to Adonijah,
Not today.
Verily our Lord King David have made Shalom king.
Whoa.
And the king
so now everybody stop. Everybody stop, because now there comes that point in your life where you assess a situation and realize, I'm on the wrong side of the situation.
Right.
So now what you gonna do? You gonna continue, or you gonna try to do something to fix it? But right now, I'm currently on the wrong side of this scenario. Come on.
And the king hath sent with him Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and the Kerethites and the Pelethites.
So we can't even get them because the rough dudes is there. Can't even get to him. Come on.
And they have caused him to ride upon the king's mule. And Zadok the priest and Natan the prophet have anointed him king.
So
and
it's
behold,
already official. They anointed him. They took him down there. They brought him back. Everything. Come on.
and they are come up from thence rejoicing, so that the city is in an uproar.
Everybody
this is the
already
noise
know.
that ye have heard.
Everything that you heard, all of the singing and the dancing and the harps and all of that, that's because King Solomon was made king. Now they all sitting around like, okay, how we gonna fix this? And what comes next shows you the character of the people in the room. Come on.
And also Shalomo sitteth on the throne of the kingdom. And moreover, the king's servants came to bless our Lord King Dawid, saying, God make the name of Shalomo better than thy name, and make his throne greater than thy throne. And the king bowed down upon the bed, and also thus said the king, Blessed be Jehovah, the God of Israel, who have given one to sit on my throne this day, my eyes even seeing it.
Listen, they brought the whole procession back to the bedroom where King David was at. They said they brought everybody up right to King David, right where he was at. Why? Because King David was still in charge of this whole scenario.
Right.
You know, we have these intellectual talks back and forth. And one of the intellectual talks we had was the whole thing with Isaac and Rebekah, right? Let me just put that out there for us to think about. So you have some people feel like Isaac bought Rebekah back. The servant bought Rebekah back, and she got off the mule, and she went in Isaac's tent, and then that was it. Listen, if I'm Abraham, and I financed you to go all the way out there and bring my son back a wife, and you done gave away bracelets willy-nilly and earrings and all these different types of things, I don't even get to meet the girl? We're not savages. We're not animals.
That's right.
They brought him back to the bedroom. So, look, all of this, King David blessed it, and then they put him on the throne. And the Most High, David, being who he, and this is why God loved him. He wasn't, he got up. Blessed be the Most High God, who has given me one to sit on the throne, and I see it. Amen. Come on.
And all the guests of Adonijah were afraid,
they was afraid,
and rose up and went every man his way.
Everybody left. Quickest party you ever left. Drinks turned over and all that. Nobody cleaned up. Everybody went their way because they need to figure out how we gonna handle this scenario now. Come on.
And Adonijah feared because of Shalomo, and he arose and went and caught hold on the horns of the altar.
So it said Adonijah feared because he knew he was wrong.
Right.
Now it comes to the point, this is how you know a right person from an evil person.
Right.
Because a right person, that's still your father, and that's still your brother. You could stand up and go and try to make this right. But he ran in the temple and
Caught horn on
the tent and grabbed horns on the altar, knowing that, hoping that with him grabbing horns on the altar, that they wouldn't fall on him right there, because he knew that he was worthy of death, because what they all did was treason. What they all did was treason. And he knew he was worthy of death, so he went and grabbed on the horns of the altar and said, what?
And it was told Shalomo, saying, Behold, Adonijah feareth King Shalomo. For lo, he hath laid hold on the horns of the altar, saying, Let King Shalomo swear unto me first of all that he will not slay his servant with the sword.
So Adonijah went and he grabbed onto the altar, and he was, I'm not letting go until he need to swear that he won't put me to death.
Right.
Why you ain't talking tough now? Yeah. You was just talking about long live King Adonijah, right? You was popping bottles and slaying oxen and all that. You was doing all that. Right? You was talking real big tough. Now you holding on to the horns of the altar. Come on. I can see Solomon right now. Is this your king? Yo, I've been waiting for the right moment to say that. And this just felt like the right moment to say that. Come on.
And Shalomo said, If he shall show himself a worthy man, there shall not a hair of him fall to the earth. But if wickedness be found in him, he shall die. So King Shalomo sent, and they brought him down from the altar. And he came and prostrated himself before King Shalomo. And Shalomo said unto him, Go to thy house. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All honors, praises, respect, acknowledgement, and thanks I offer unto the great King of the universe, to the God of our fathers, to the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, thanking him for all things and everything. Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.